What's up, everyone? Back for another beer review, and today is day 8 of the 10 Days of Pumpkin here on the channel. The beer I'm reviewing today comes from the Voodoo Brewing Company, and they're out of Meadville, Pennsylvania. And this is their Caution Contains Real Pumpkins. So this is a part of their barrel room collection, and it is a barley wine. And on the label here, it says brewed with and aged on pumpkin, Madagascar vanilla beans, and cinnamon, and then aged in bourbon barrels. Comes in at 11.3% alcohol by volume, no IBUs listed. At the time of review, this beer is just over 3 weeks old. So Voodoo, this is the first beer I'm reviewing from them on the channel, but I dig what they do. Their year-round releases are pretty solid, but what I like is their canned releases that they do at the brewery, in addition to the barrel room collection. They actually opened up a brew pub in downtown Erie, Pennsylvania a few years ago, and I frequent that probably 2 or 3 times a year. And they released this, I believe it was about 3 weeks ago. And I went down to Erie and I picked up a couple bottles of this, one for myself and one for my buddy Dan to share with his brother Scott, because, full disclosure, I've had this beer before, courtesy of Dan, and that was 3 years ago. And this was one of the best pumpkin beers I ever had. Such a different beast, a pumpkin barley wine. I've only had one other pumpkin barley wine in my life, and that was Almanacs. I think it was aged in brandy barrels. That was phenomenal as well. But anyway, little spiel here on the side. They say, we conducted a highly scientific study over the last few years and found that 95.3%, has an asterisk next to it, of pumpkin beers don't actually contain any real pumpkin. What gives? So in response, we slaughtered over 200 pounds of real pumpkin and brewed up this barley wine. Then we aged it in bourbon barrels with even more pumpkin, cinnamon, and Madagascar vanilla beans. So drink with caution, because there's real pumpkins in this bottle, unlike the sea of wannabes out there. And then the asterisk they have, it says, trust us on this one. We're great with statistics. Real pumpkins were harmed in the making of this beer. So yeah, anyway, I can't wait to get into it. Now, I did a little bit of a, it's really thick wax, so I pre-cut it. I'm hoping I'll be able to open it up with this. If not, I have a heavy-duty bottle opener over there that I could, look, there's just garbage over here. This shit's fucking like a 1/4 inch thick. Listen, the wax looks beautiful on these beers, but still ridiculous when you try to open them. So I'm hoping I can get into this one relatively easy. Let's see if I can. Yeah, all right, not too bad. Actually, I like the cap. It's an American flag. Look at that. That's actually pretty cool. I'm gonna have to keep that. American flag cap. So rip off the wax here. Hopefully I don't pour any in. Let's give it a pour. Label out, sons, right, Paul? Label out. Put this over here, and here we go. Voodoo Brewing Company, Teku, because proper glassware. Oh yeah, dirty glass mafia, baby. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. I'm gonna fill it up like halfway. I mean, 11.3%, we don't need to go crazy, you know what I mean? So let me get rid of the dirty glass here. Oh, beautiful. Done. Anyway, ever since it turned colder, my glasses are not doing as well. Anyway, that pours out this really, oh man, that looks awesome. That's like a deep mahogany, some round tinges. Has about a half finger of an off-white head. It looks like a beautiful barley wine, quite filtered as well. Let's get a nose on it. Yeah, this is it. Tons, and I mean absolutely tons of confectionery, caramelized, and burnt sugars. Caramel, toffee, brown sugar. Yeah, just smells so rich. There's some deeper dark fruits in this one too, like a dark cherry into like maybe even like a touch of a raisin. Maybe even more like of a golden raisin. Now, I think they're using Early Times Whisky, and if I know anything about whiskey, which is almost nothing, I think that's a really, really cheap whiskey. So, I'm just getting some vanilla on this. It doesn't smell like it's not huge bourbon blast, but get like a little bit of vanilla, a little bit of oak tannin. Maybe a touch of cinnamon that they're brewing with. I don't think use any other spice there. I shouldn't be picking up on nutmeg and clove and ginger and allspice and everything, and I'm not, so that's good. Yeah, this just smells like a fucking well-constructed barley wine. Smells more of the English style than the American style, because there really is no bitterness or any hop character on the nose. It smells like fantastic barley wine stuff. Words. Terrible. Here we go. Cheers. Yep, and yep. I don't even care that I can't speak English properly at this point in time, because I don't need to. I'm just going to drink this. First off, 11.3%, nah, maybe a little bit warming into the chest area, but no, I'd say this is like 8 or 9% max. First thing that hits you, has a slight creaminess to it, slight, I shouldn't say, it's a decent creaminess, softness to this one. Mouthfeel, Chris always says that I say Paul says that beers are thin, so yes, Paul would say this is a bit thin. You know what, I do too, but whatever. Eric Gilbert's going to lose his shit, doesn't matter. Yeah, this is like higher side of medium body, lower side of full body, but I don't even care because while the body is what it is and the mouthfeel is solid, the taste of this is fucking fantastic. Tons of that caramel, brown sugar, toffee vibe, burnt sugar, caramelized sugar. But the cool thing about this is the barrel is not huge. What is in this is the barrel in addition to the vanilla beans. They are coming together and you just get a huge vanilla blast to this one, which is really, really enjoyable. You do get the cinnamon, but it finishes on the back of the palate to kind of dry this out, because if not for that cinnamon and that drying sensation on the back of the palate, this would be way, way too sweet in my opinion. But it's not. It cuts that sweetness and it makes it vastly more enjoyable, but also balances it out quite a bit too. Again, not picking up a ton of the bourbon, more of that vanilla tinge, maybe a slight oak tannin mixing in with the dryness of the cinnamon. But yeah, I mean, this is just great. This is a true, I'd say, English style barley wine, but it has nuances of the pumpkin, of the cinnamon, and the vanilla is pretty much the star of the show from any of the adjuncts and the barrel aging process. This is fucking awesome. This is, as of right now, the best pumpkin beer I've had so far through the 8 days. We got 2 days left. So I'm going to give Caution Contains Real Pumpkin from the Voodoo Brewing Company a 4.75 out of 5. It's close to a 5. I'd want a bigger body for it to be a world-class 5 out of 5. Just, you know, lose your shit. Everyone should purchase this beer. But for me, it doesn't get a 5 because of that body and also because of the price. Look, I know something like this can be expensive, but this was $21, I believe, for a $7.50. That's a lot of money for a pumpkin beer. But if you're close to Voodoo, any of their locations, whether it's the downtown Erie, PA brew pub or the Meadville location where the brewery is, or in the Homestead, they have a couple other ones opening up and I think already opened. If you can get this beer and you've never had it before, try it out. I think you will love it, especially if you love barley wines, but even more so if you like both barley wines and pumpkin ales, because this kind of melds both of them together. And if you like barrel-aged beers, that's a plus as well. So Caution Contains Pumpkins from Voodoo Brewing Company, 4.75 out of 5. I don't care about anything else other than going to drink this. Again, my English is terrible most days, right? Every review, but today more so than ever before. But I don't care about anything else. I'm going to go drink this. I'm going to go watch the Sabres get their ass kicked, and it should be a lot of fun. So until next one, cheers.